Hearing none, Communication 400 requests a presentation by consulting firm ACOM regarding the Puna Wastewater Facility Plan and the Pahoa Wastewater Feasibility Study from Environmental Management Director Ramsey Mansour, dated August 10, 2023.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Madam Chair and committee members. Today we here before you to present to you the Puna and Pahoa Wastewater Feasibility Study. The study was done in accordance to EDA funding. The money was secured by Council Member Korkowitz. And we were able to enter into an agreement with ACOM, and they did the study. I'm going to introduce Ray. She could introduce her staff.
I'm Ray Louie, and I gotta say, I'm born and raised in Hilo. I'm with AECOM, I'm a civil engineer, and I have two engineers with me today, Bob Stallings and Adrian Fung, in case I cannot answer the questions. So this is the study area for Pahoa. So in both areas, there's no county wastewater facilities. For the Pahoa's feasibility study, we combined the census designated place and the land use urban growth boundary to give us this larger 2,000 acre footprint. There's 14,800 cesspools in Puna and 400 in Pahoa. And that you can compare to about 50,000 in the county of Hawaii and 88,000 in the state. So Puna has a substantial number. You are all familiar with Act 125 that requires replacement of all 80,000 cesspools by 2050. And the state's cesspool conversion working group deemed that all of the cesspools in the Puna district are priority category 3, which is the lowest of all three groups. Puna is experiencing the fastest growth of all County of Hawaii districts. As far as the growth rate, we used the DBED forecast through 2040 and extended it another 12 years in order to cover the 2050 cesspool deadline. Therefore, we have a 30-year planning period for both reports. Goes through 2052. So the way we plan for wastewater is we project future populations and we multiply it by a per capita wastewater flow to estimate what the overall flows will be for 2052. Pahoa is estimated to grow from 1,200 to 1,800 people and produce 0.154 million gallons per day of wastewater. Our study, though, also assumed that the Pahoa project area would receive flows from Mauka Maku'u, the DHHL proposed development, which would add another 0.126 MGD in 2052. So summing these two things, the total is about 0.3 MGD. So you look at Puna, which is estimated to grow to 80,000 people from 51,000. And applying the per capita wastewater flows, the projected flow is about 8.5 MGD. And we have these detailed by census tract, which informs the planning of our treatment facilities. As far as collection, the conventional thing is gravity sewers, right? So you don't have to pump anything or use electricity. So wastewater collection is really dependent on elevation. If it can't be done by gravity, pump stations are necessary to convey the flows to the treatment plants. We also looked at low pressure sewers to replace pump stations and sewer lines and found that to be a slightly cheaper alternative. We did look at all individual wastewater systems or decentralized systems. Decentralized systems would be package plants to treat the projected growth of commercial areas, schools, and hospitals. For treatment, packaged decentralized plants were ranging in size from 15,000 to 250,000 GPD. We looked at centralized wastewater treatment plants of 300,000 GPD. We also looked at sending flows to Hilo wastewater treatment plant. We did look at disposal of both liquid, effluent, and solids, looked at a lot of alternatives like land application, reuse of the effluent, solids disposal through biosolids, and to the landfill. The flows sent to Hilo would be discharged through the Hilo outfall after treatment. Here's the summary of the wastewater alternatives. The first page is the Puna wastewater alternatives. What we have here are alternatives 1A and 1B, which are basically individual wastewater systems and decentralized treatments. Then for alternatives 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, they're all different number of treatment plants. And for each one of those, we looked at 3 different collection system alternatives. Remember, I told you about the gravity and low pressure sewer and some kind of cross-country pipeline. So that's what these all are. And I guess we use the word urban sewering, and I should probably point that out. If you look at alternative 2, urban sewering includes treating 6 MGD. So urban sewering is the zoned areas of lot sizes less than or equal to 1 acre, institutional uses like hospitals and schools, commercial and industrial. And when you look at full flow, it does go up to 13.5 MGD, and that would throw in all residences would be connected, so there would be no individual wastewater systems. And it would include zoning or larger zoned parcels. Okay, so the next few pages are each of those alternatives. Alternative 1A was all individual wastewater systems, and for the growth in industrial, commercial, hospital, whatever, for over the 30 years, we would plan decentralized treatment systems for that growth. Alternative 1B is both decentralized on-site treatment and low-pressure sewers. Then if you turn the page to alternative 2 and 3, these are 4 sub-regional treatment plants and 3 sub-regional treatment plants with urban sewering. So just in the more densely populated areas. And the 4 treatment plants would be Keau, Hawaiian Paradise Park, Pahoa, and Volcano. And the 3 would be Keau, HPP, and Volcano. So the Pahoa flows would be sent to HPP to be treated. Alternative 4 is 1 regional treatment plant in Keau. And these 2 alternatives, 4 and 5, are the 1 regional treatment plant with urban sewering and full flow sewering. So it jumps from 6 to 8.5 MGD. Alternatives 6 and 7 are sending the flows to Hilo wastewater treatment plant. So it would send 6 MGD or 8.5 MGD all the way to Hilo. Okay, so the next page is the Pahoa wastewater management alternatives. And for Pahoa, we just had 4 alternatives. And these are, again, all IWS, individual wastewater systems, and decentralized treatment for the commercial industrial growth, right? And we also looked at an alternative of decentralized on-site treatment with low-pressure sewer. We also looked at centralized treatment, and those are alternatives 2A and 2B. So if you look at the pictures of the alternatives, the first one is all individual wastewater systems with a few decentralized treatment plants. Alternative 1B is decentralized 3 neighborhood plants. If you look at alternative 2A and 2B, it's 1 centralized treatment plant in Pahoa, and it's using conventional gravity sewers or a combination of conventional and low pressure sewers. Don't be shocked at the cost, but these are the ranges of costs for the alternatives. And there's a range because, for example, alternative 2 had 3 sub-alternatives, right, for the 3 different collection methods. So these are, yes, billions of dollars to come up with treatment systems for all of Puna. The next page is the summary of estimated costs for Pahoa's feasibility study, and those are ranging from 81 to 140 million. Another point they brought up was about lava zones. Lava zones 1 and 2, and what is the county's position going to be about infrastructure in those zones? There would be no Pahoa alternative if we decided not to construct in lava zones 1 and 2. And if we decided not to construct in lava zones 1 and 2 for Puna, it basically lowers all of the alternatives by $2 billion.
Wow, this is going to cost a lot of money. For me, it really comes down to the affordability, right? Like, I know that there needs to be some kind of solution that's put forward because of the social and environmental impact. But the cost of living in Hawaii is so outrageous. And to factor in one more bill, we're pricing people out of paradise at this point.
What I'm looking at as far as evaluation areas that would drive me to want to do a project of this size would be high density areas, town centerships, or town centers that are evolving and growing. So you're starting to pipe to areas that are becoming town centers. That would be an evaluation piece in my mind. As well as current areas of concern. I remember sitting in the VI presentation on Zoom, and they had a slide that went by, and I don't have it, but they actually showed where they're starting to see bacteria inundating well water. And those would be high areas of concern for me, because that's where our sewer systems, whatever they may be, individual wastewater systems, on-site disposal, cesspool, septic, is starting to leach into our groundwater that people are drinking for the wells. So
Was that in Puna?
that was in Puna. That was presented in their presentation to the community that they did, and
Okay,
that was that VI group.
yeah, I'll follow up.
Stuart Coleman.
Yeah, because we checked with Department of Water Supply, and they have not seen any contamination so far, but it must be someplace else, the
It
well.
might be the private wells that they're
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
these
okay,
from.
I'll check.
You provided us the alternatives. 6 and 7 were urban sewering and full flow sewering. What's the difference between those two?
So urban is just the denser, so less than or equal to 1 acre for residential and commercial, industrial, sort of like town areas. And full sewering is everybody. So largely the larger lots also are sewered with the 8 MGD.
Okay.
Yeah,
And that would all come back to Hilo, would be the plan for 6 and
that's
7.
that particular alternative.
What is the capacity of the Hilo treatment facility? And where are they at right
It
now?
would have to be improved. It's 5, right?
Right. Currently, Hilo is permitted around 6 MGDs, designed for a peak flow of 13.5 MGD. Currently, we've taken about 2.8 million gallon per day, so we at half capacity currently. So the intent, if that option ever works, we need to add more component to expand the treatment. But it'll still be cheaper than building a whole facility.
And some of these alternatives put it all back in Kilkaha. And I got a community who's over it. They're done carrying everybody's waste. And so when I look at your evaluation criteria and the alternatives, absolutely, I think what's missing in some of this is the historical carrying capacity of a community who's done doing it already.
Yeah.
We're absolutely done. So when we talk about growth and expansion and where that all is going to go, people need to learn the lesson that they gotta carry their own kuleana in their own spaces. While people in Puna went for years without infrastructure, a community here in Hilo carried it for them. And so now, to Ms. Kimball's point, is people need to recognize what the true costs have been over the years. So if we're going to write checks, the first checks should go to the community that has carried our waste, both solid and wastewater, for the last 45 years. So as we all reflect back on our communities and what's best for our communities, everybody got to carry this. Everybody. So that's my thoughts. Welcome you guys down into Kilkaha to give a presentation to the homestead and get it full blast from them. We meet every third Wednesdays of the month. Come on down. That's where I stand. Thank you. I yield.